Hi and welcome to episode 60 of The Party Line. This podcast was recorded on Aboriginal land and we stand in solidarity with our Indigenous brothers and sisters in their struggle against racism and capitalism.
Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling party line. Oh, I never will forsake thee, for I love this life of mine.
I don't recognise a single one of them. Comrades! Jim, you know these people? Oh yeah, massive fan. Huge inspiration on the budget, ending negative gearing, doubling the tax on super, taxing the family trust. Will you sign my sickle? I hear you have a squatter problem.
So,
Hello.
This is the Party Line podcast, but we thought we'd start with a bit of Pauline Hanson's
One Nation propaganda.
because you guys get a big feature on it.
Yeah.
I'm actually a bit offended because I don't have a cartoon.
You're not in it. Omar's white.
Josh's hair is quite...
That looks like Josh, though.
Josh looks really good.
Yeah.
But why do they always give you this red nose? Like,
I got a red nose.
but I like the idea that you or like the socialists were the direct inspiration for the
Negative gearing.
Negative gearing cuts, etc.
Yeah. I mean, we'll take it, but there were shit changes. So
Pauline Hanson's quite obsessed with you, or you're actually the guy who makes the cartoon is your opponent, the Northern Metro candidate.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do like a video off.
we'll make a comic of him.
Yeah, or like on the pod, we can talk about him and then he can talk about us.
I don't even remember his name. Do you remember his name?
No idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we've already lost. Oh, well.
But the thing is about how Pauline Hanson lives rent-free in everyone's minds and whatever.
But then we live...
And then we're quite clearly living rent-free in her mind.
Proudly.
So
it was a funny bit to have Jim Chalmers say, "Can you sign my sickle?"
That's
I thought it was
great.
quite funny, yeah.
Maybe she doesn't know, but we're actually more into the hammer part of it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of sickles in Australia these days.
Oh, well, we still got a big agrarian industry, so...
Peasant.
I don't think they use sickles. All right.
So yeah, okay. We won't ever talk about that again.
Yeah.
But we thought we should start with it. Just so people can go have a look if they'd like. No, don't do that. Don't give her any views.
Yeah, that's the bullshit segment.
That's the bullshit
In case
segment.
anyone was wondering.
We haven't done bullshit in a long time.
I noticed that. It just
Yeah.
quietly slipped out.
People did actually rebel against it.
They did. So let's not bring it back.
Well, we could. You got any other bullshit?
No.
Nah, that's
No?
good. I think that's plenty.
I think the most important bullshit this week is from the Geelong Football Club, who are despicable people in general for constantly
very Christian.
for constantly winning.
They have like
What?
that was Geelong, wasn't it? They have like Gary Ablett was Geelong.
Yes.
He's like a real Christian.
Wow.
And there became a divide in the football club between like the ones who were Christian and the ones that weren't. And so like Gary Ablett would lead a prayer circle at the beginning of every game.
Yeah, Gary Ablett's not just a Christian. Like he's one of those happy clappy, like off the charts, like weirdo ones.
Yeah.
Like the little weirdo sects. But anyway, the reason that Geelong are in the news this week is not just for being a crap successful club that people love to hate, but it's actually because they forced one of their players to sign a waiver indemnifying them from any future concussion claims.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
And, you know, even without like making them sign the waiver, a lot of the insurance companies that the football players have refuse to pay out the insurance claims because they like, you basically can't prove like the CTE or whatever it is until you've died because you have to do the biopsy and you can't biopsy a living brain.
And you also can't prove it was connected to the football.
Yeah, exactly.
Something else could have happened, you know.
Yeah.
And so remember our player... Was it
Nathan Murphy?
Nathan Murphy, yeah. I was going to say Nathan Brown, but yeah. He like had a years long battle with his insurance company. And like the football club it wasn't like they were helping this situation.
Yeah, I mean, they're at fault. Like they're the employer. So like, yeah, it's a workplace injury.
That's right.
Like, they're not going to want to help, I reckon, because they'll have to pay the insurance company. But also, what's the point of these insurance companies if they won't fucking pay for the most important thing?
I think their point is to make profit for their shareholders.
Some would say, yeah.
But it's like interesting, like the thing of even in the context of like quite highly paid football players, the pressure from your employer to, you know, you have to sign this waiver if you want to keep on playing. Like that sort of pressure is still massively felt.
Totally.
And it's just evil.
It's a massive issue in sport everywhere.
Yeah.
Like even in soccer now, football, they're saying
they do the
the
headers.
headbutting because they've found now that CTE is not about like the intensity of the hits. It's just about the regularity of them. And so they're trying to ban headbutting or heading, I should say, in soccer in like practice runs and stuff.
Oh.
But like I live next to a soccer pitch and the kids are just doing it all the time. So it's obviously not enforced. And the same thing with NFL, right? There's all these defenders who their role is literally just meat grinders. Like they just plow through these usually black men. Yeah. They play for a few years. They get concussion. They're out. Yeah. And they just find more black people who can just play this role. And there's just thousands of them dealing with CTE and the NFL refuses to cover any of the costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. I remember, like Libert, like in the Bulldogs, just keeps getting his head hit and keeps being visibly concussed. He's going to be fucked, but
it's
like
horrible.
Whatever. Not whatever actually. I remembered I had some footy bullshit from this week. I took Sam Wallman to his first footy game.
Famous left-wing artist.
Yeah, beautiful artist. With Sarah to his first footy game ever. He's a North Melbourne supporter, and we lost.
You should do it again.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
keep taking
I'm not doing that ever again.
North Melbourne they need the support, every bit of support they can get.
Yeah,
it was a great game. They played really well.
I think I upset a few people the other day when we were talking about Ben Carroll because I attacked North Melbourne because he's a North Melbourne supporter. So
that's like the best thing about him, probably.
Do you guys think that we should just become a sports podcast? I think it'd be fun.
I would like that.
Yeah, as long as it's not about the World Cup.
Maybe we could have like a side show, you know?
Okay, let's move on. Before we get into the headlines, like we're going to discuss later on in the episode the Royal Commission, the block that was dealing with the protests in New South Wales happened last week. And so, or maybe the week before. We didn't talk about it. So we wanted to sort of go through some of those issues. And then also there's a nationwide school strike against Pauline Hanson on Thursday, which has been drawing the ire of the right-wing media. So we thought we'd let people into the world of Sky News and see what they're saying. But we've got some headlines first.
Yeah, so the first one is really scary, actually. It's an announcement that Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Pakistan have basically signed like a NATO pact. So the headline is Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Pakistan, mutual defense as Middle East turmoil escalates. Now, mutual defense sounds all really nice and whatever, but the problem with this pact is that it actually commits every country to go to war if any other country is attacked. And the problem with that is that Pakistan's a nuclear power. Saudi Arabia, as we talked about a few weeks ago, is about to be a nuclear power. And all three of these countries have been involved in wars in like the last few years.
I mean, like
recently.
Pakistan and India are just in constant border scuffles, and India is a nuclear power as well. So
that's right. And Turkey invaded Armenia recently and killed a bunch of people. Or sorry, I should say they supported the invasion of Armenia. The Saudi Arabia invaded Yemen for years and occupied and bombed and murdered and so on. So these are all countries with very active militaries committing to engage in a regional conflagration, basically.
I've sort of read about this in the past. It sounds very much like the lead up to World War I.
Totally, literally.
All of these wars happening all around the places, invasions, regional blocks forming, like the level of militarism. It's like this has precedent in history in the past.
And we're about to talk about the S&P 500 and whatever. The one difference is what the rate of profit apparently, according to this, is going up.
Well, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a very concerning time, and the fact that they're doing this is widely seen as like an acknowledgement that America is not reliable. Yeah, which a lot of people think imperialism is just America, and so if you think America is like not reliable, maybe pulling back, you think that's a good news story, but actually it just means a different type of imperialism, regional imperialism, which these people have less stake in a global system than America, and so it can be more unstable in just a different way. So it's lose-lose as long as capitalism and competition kind of remains in place.
Well, speaking of stocks and competition, this headline reads, US stock market holds near its all-time high and crude oil prices rise. So the US stock market is like...
It's going great.
Going crazy. It's like basically never been higher. We talked a couple of weeks ago about the sort of AI and data center boom playing quite a big role in the stock market going insane. You know, Elon Musk for a moment there was a trillionaire because his companies went on the stock market, etc. SpaceX. I didn't want to say it. I'm not giving that guy free advertising.
I mean, it's tanking now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. But
guess what? They don't do anything.
So we have a graph here, which we'll put on screen for people on YouTube. But so there's a red line that just goes up and up and up sort of since 2000 and the end of the global financial crisis goes up. But then there's another line, which is a blue line, and that one goes down, 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 down. And that blue line is how ordinary people, working class people, normal people, whatever, are feeling about the state of the economy. And they're feeling very, very bad about it because the stock market increasing, the stock market going up, this does not have a meaningful impact on people's lives. It doesn't mean that your groceries are cheaper. It doesn't mean that it's cheaper to run your car.
Often the opposite.
It doesn't mean that, you know, you can afford to pay your mortgage. And so actually people feel worse about the crisis right now than they did during the global financial crisis of 2008. So when that red line starts to go up, okay, yeah, for a little bit, like people's feelings go, rise. But now, since about 2020, it's just tanked. And so this is being discussed like a sort of K-shaped economy. So coming out of the COVID crisis where the economy did go down, well, things are tracking back up. But it's only tracking up for the already rich and powerful, and everyone else actually is just getting poorer.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole stock market, whenever they refer to it, I imagine it as them referring to rich people's wallets, or like rich people's bank accounts. Rich people's bank accounts have gone up, rich people's bank accounts have gone down, whatever. But it's interesting because in that analysis, it's worse now than it was during like the majority of the 2008 GFC. So that's bad. Yeah. That's not ideal.
And the thing about it is like the profits are actually often directly counterposed to people's well-being, you know, and that's the thing. So there's been this big boom since 2020. There was the investment into chips and manufacturing that Biden did. There was a huge stimulus, like hundreds of billions of dollars just given out to corporations to build chip factories and renewable energy infrastructure and so on, all for profit. And then Trump has cut some of that, but kept some of it, and then also added to that massive tax cuts. So, you know, the big, beautiful bill, if people remember, was the biggest tax cut in American history. And so, yeah, the rich are making a lot of money, but working class people are not getting any of that.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, because of class politics. You know, when the working class isn't fighting, any expansion in the economy only benefits those who own.
And then, so they're all talking about how we're in a massive boom at the moment. But people's lives are extraordinarily bad. And so then the question becomes like, what the fuck happens when this boom that we're in right now, which most people feel is just a bubble, what happens when that bubble bursts or that crash comes? Like, how much harder can life get for working class people around the world? You know, like it's not good.
Yeah.
That's right.
And speaking of, like, the reason that, like, you know, that red line is going up is mainly because of AI and data centers and everything all around the world. And yeah, I feel like this is a really good example of like what that is. This headline says thermal imaging shows XAI lied about Colossus supercomputer pollution. Group says
a company lied about the pollution of their
Trump, no less.
Company.
What?
Would you believe?
That's right.
This is like the biggest fucking data center. There's some thermal imaging that's been released that shows like what they were lying about. They were like, okay, so when they made this, they were like, it's gonna be renewable. There needed to be like some of the conditions, like the development application conditions were like, super renewable, the most efficient kind of smog reducing technology.
I'm
all
sure
that
the
kind of
drawing
stuff.
that they put forward of the campus had a lot of like green shrubbery and trees and some like parks and stuff like that.
Exactly. Anyways, they used gas turbines and whatever. And then they also were like, oh no, we're only using this many gas turbines. All of those other ones that you can see are just being used for storage. Like we're just storing
gas
all
turbines for storage.
We're just holding them.
Okay.
And then turns out they lied about that.
They're using them.
Yeah, would you believe?
They're using the gas
actually,
turbines they paid a lot of money to install in their infrastructure.
And there's a picture here which is quite funny. It's a picture of like a thermal imaging of the gas turbines being on because they're fucking red.
Yeah.
And everything else is black. Yeah, I mean, like the pollution is insane. Like it's a black working class community that is suffering, as tends to be the case whenever the fucking like rich people do anything in America. It's poisoning them. But also there's like in the justification, which it kind of revealing, XAI. I mean, the construction only took 122 days, which is like phenomenally
pretty speedy.
short.
Sure, the working conditions are very safe.
Exactly, for such a huge project. And then they said XAI removed whatever was necessary, and that's a quote, to complete the build, questioning everything that might delay operations and taking the timeline into our own hands.
Oh, that does not sound good.
Which is just like anything that is getting in the way of us making profit as soon as possible.
Wonder what that might be.
Yeah,
which is like, I mean, what do you think it is?
They should have just imported slaves from Qatar or something.
Totally. It's just like...
That's the way of the future.
Which they would if they could.
But it's like the data center that they're building out in Diggers Rest in Melbourne's West. It's like this is like a native grasslands. It's a flood like zone, like a flood catchment sort of
fingers
area.
crossed it floods quickly.
Well, no, all it means is that instead of the water going into the ground in this floodplain, it's going to go into the residential areas.
Like with Flemington, like what they did with the we'll stop the race course from flooding by flooding this like working class community instead.
Gotcha.
But it's like that
they'll protect that.
Native grasslands, they get in the way. You have to clear them out of the way to build your fucking data center.
And it's like the same in Campbellfield. They're using the old Ford site to build a data center. It's this massive site.
Yeah.
It's just enormous. Like you can drive past it for minutes at a time and you're still in the same thing. And they're building, I think, Australia's biggest data center there.
So far.
And it's going to have 7 million litres of diesel.
Yeah, just stored there.
And there's houses like 130 metres away.
Yeah. It's nuts.
I saw a video from there was a community meeting in Port Melbourne because they're building another data center in not Diggers Rest, the other one, Fisherman's Bend.
Yeah.
And there were representatives from the United Firefighters Union there talking about like we aren't
equipped to
we can't deal with this. Or like having this much fuel right next to residential areas poses a massive risk to life, basically. And so I was at a rally on the weekend in West Footscray because there's a massive data centre, the next DC data centre right in West Footscray. It's like you're in a park and then you're in a residential street and then there's this like data centre that looks like a game.
Like a prison. It's evil.
Like a game, what's the word I'm looking for? Map. Like a game map from like some apocalyptic, the robots have taken
like
over. Basically.
Yeah.
So we were at a rally because this thing is being expanded. They're going to make it even bigger. Katie Hall and Daniel Molino. So Katie Hall's the Footscray, like local MP. Daniel Molino, he's the federal for the seat of Fraser.
Both Labor.
They were invited to the rally. No one thought they'd show up. They did show up, and they have the gall to say, Katie Hall says, I'm opposed to the expansion of the data centre, and then blamed it on the council. Meanwhile, it's like the Labor government has given Sonia Kilkenny, the planning minister, the capacity to fast track the approval.
Totally. That's right.
The councils are not allowed to say that they are against it. There's no community like space for consultation or like argument against it happening. She has the gall to say she's against the expansion, does not talk about Campbellfield, doesn't talk about Diggers Rest, doesn't talk about Geelong, doesn't talk about Port Melbourne. And then Daniel Molino gets up and he says, we need to protect Australia's sovereign AI capacity.
Yeah, that's very important.
It's like, brother, are you? And it's
Look at all these people here. They're really concerned about fucking Australia's sovereign
and they
AI
literally
capacity.
said they came here to listen to people's concerns. It's like, talk about like, I don't know, window dressing or whatever.
Well, the Labor Party does the same thing in the North.
Yeah.
They say they're opposed to it. But it's like, you're the government.
You're doing it.
You're the government.
Like, this is you.
It's just bullshit.
I know. But the problem is there isn't enough awareness in the community.
I was so angry.
Because people take that sort of on good coin, or some people do. It's the same about the incinerator. Like, the Labor Party has spoken at multiple anti-incinerator events. Yeah. And it's like, you're the government implementing the incinerator. There would be no incinerator if the Labor Party didn't approve it.
And now,
but the local MP gets to be like, I'm the opposition.
On that incinerator site, this is the Sunbury one, they're talking about, or maybe there's two different ones, but in the like Sunbury incinerator site, the same company that wants to build the incinerator has put in an application for a data center
as well, or instead
on the same site.
Let's just put all the good stuff. Just put all the good stuff there.
Like, fuck you, people of Sunbury. Fuck you. Like,
yeah. And also, we're gonna put like a landfill and just chuck it all on top.
All of it.
We're gonna have like a multi-layer car park of just all the crap things.
And then, so it's important to remember what we're building these data centers for. Pervert glasses.
That's a great segue.
Thank you.
That should win an Academy Award or something. Yeah.
They're never going to give me one. But yes, so there's been like more news at the moment about like these the Meta glasses, these smart glasses where you can sort of take photos and videos of people without their consent, knowledge, whatever. So this headline is Pervert Glasses Backlash Against Meta's Smart Glasses Grows. And this story from the Seattle Times, whatever, talks about how a woman was asked by a guy if she wanted to go on a date with him. She was like, no, who are you? And then she finds a video of herself on YouTube. This guy's just uploaded him fucking harassing her on the street for content. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, they had to turn on like shutter noises on cameras because women were being harassed by men. And now it's like they can just walk around with glasses taking videos of you. Yeah. And then
it's a scary world.
Like, this isn't this important, but like, just to say, these Meta glasses, the content of the videos is reviewed by these people who work in a office block in Kenya or whatever. Yeah. They have to review all of the footage.
Like live. They're monitoring it live.
I don't know if it's live, but it's like...
They can do it live.
People, like, the interviews with these workers are like, we have to watch people shitting, fucking, like... but then also just, like, traumatic... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's horrific.
So it's like this whole industry is just so like, anti-human, so scary...
It's pretty shocking.
And that's why we need sovereign
that's
AI capacity.
Australia's AI sovereignty that we're trying to protect.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to rely on China for that kind of thing.
We want our own fucking
we should be able to do
glasses.
Porn, unfiltered porn like here.
Should we move on from this? It's horrible.
I think so, yeah. I thought this one was really exciting.
Yes.
The headline is Port Hedland.
This is a good news story, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon. Port Hedland strikes this weekend could cost economy millions.
Yay.
Which is great. But like... It was two 24-hour stop works for two different things, both like BHP, Port Hedland, and the amount that they said. So this is from the ABC's reporting. Strikes at Australia's largest bulk export port this weekend could cost mining giant BHP $100 million in revenue.
Mining giant. But the headline says the economy.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought maybe I had to pay.
Well, let me tell you.
Are you saying that only the company suffers?
Let me tell you about the...
wow.
It's not just the company. It actually is also the Australian government. I mean, the West Australian government, which would lose $7 million in royalties, which is very funny because that's 7%. Like, that's fucking nothing compared to like... I mean, it's a 24-hour stop work, $100 million, and then the government also will lose a bit of money, a tiny proportion of that. It is insane. But I mean, like, there's things happening I mean, like, unions kind of all over Australia. But it was especially this. Like, this is really exciting to me.
Yeah, there's been a year-long process building up to this, and it's kind of unusual. It's an alliance between the CFMEU, the MUA, and I think the AW as well.
That is unusual.
Yeah,
it is really unusual.
They're often sparring partners. But and this is like such a lucrative. This is so people who don't know the Pilbara is like iron ore.
Yeah.
So just like hundreds of billions of dollars of money been made over the last few decades over iron ore. And they're shutting it down because they said like workers aren't getting anything of this. Like $100 million in one day. So even just $365 million in 1 year. How many years has this been operating? Like since John Howard before. So it's like so much money has passed through the hands of these people.
Yeah.
And so little of it has gone to either the workers or the government. So it's good to see people fighting back.
Yeah. Speaking of unusual union alliances, there is something called the Offshore Alliance, which is between the AWU and the MUA.
Yeah.
Which when Annika and I went down to Western Australia and we spoke with this like Irish bloke. Do you remember that guy?
The young guy?
Yeah.
He was really nice.
He was
IR.
Yeah.
Rigger. What's the I word? Something rigger.
Yeah, like he works offshore as well. And
You've been reading Dostoevsky?
Yeah. I mean, he's fascinating. Like we should get him on the podcast. He would talk for ages about everything. But yeah, like this Irish bloke, an offshore rigger, and like he was telling us about how like these companies will have like it's an incredibly dangerous job, and like the workers are like reasonably paid for like the danger, but what these companies do is like just get like migrant workers who are just not subject to our industrial relations laws to do the most dangerous bits, and like they'll get injured, they'll die, whatever. So the MUA and the AWU are like working together to, I don't know, do something.
To get coverage, yeah.
Yeah, which is really fascinating.
Yeah, and these offshore gas fields are just some of the most lucrative things. And they tried to do all non-union. So it's very cool. They had to like smuggle themselves onto the things like at night time and risk arrest and harassment by security. Like it's pretty full on.
Yeah.
But good for them. All right. Speaking of unions, I think probably our last story for today is the teachers union in Victoria, which has gone on strike twice.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a strike plan for August 19. This week, after a week and a half of like delay and distraction and whatever, the Labor government's finally put a new offer. Some of us were thinking maybe they would try and like smash it out of the park, give us something too good to refuse.
Something really good.
Make it a good news story for the Labor government, get teachers behind them. Instead, they've basically offered the same deal with a $2,000 sweetener, which ends up being back pay till like January or so, which is good. Like we wouldn't have got that without the extra strike and without voting no. And generally speaking, there's quite a few things in the potential agreement that we wouldn't have got.
Yeah.
Like
the fully funding as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They've offered to fully fund. That hasn't been documented yet, they've committed to that.
Yeah.
So we've won full funding. We've won $2,000 wage rise. We've got ES staff getting paid the same as teachers in the same manner, i.e. like actually in their wages. So we've gone from 18% to that and so on. So it's like there's a lot of wins, but it's just like the Labor government is at its weakest point right now, and our union leadership just haven't done anything to use that leverage.
Yeah.
And so they get this offer, they've shoved a deal process through now. So we're calling on people to vote no, not on the basis that this is like a disgusting deal that's just like, but it's just not good enough. We could get more, and we were going to get more the longer we fought. And that the proof of that is...
And you are getting more the longer you fight.
Exactly, yeah. So some people are saying we're going to vote yes and fight next time round. I don't think that argument really makes sense because we're fighting right now.
And next time round is in 4 years.
Exactly. And this agreement actually says we're not allowed to bargain till August next August in 2030. Wow. So it's actually like a really long time.
It means that the bargaining will start like
before,
after, like very close to the election. So it can't become really an election issue because the bargaining takes the early stages of bargaining is not a quick process.
Yeah, it's a weird choice for a Labor government that thinks it's probably going to lose, to be honest. But anyway, that's what they've said. So yeah, we're calling on people to vote no. But the sweetener indicates what we can get if we keep voting no.
Yeah.
But honestly, the mood in the schools seems like there's going to be a majority that just want to accept and move on. Yeah. But I think we can be proud of what we've achieved so far.
Totally.
And,
definitely.
If we do vote no, the August 19th strike would be a big embarrassment for the Labor government and likely to net us even more wins.
Riding out the party line.
So last week, the Royal Commission had hearings again, this time in New South Wales. And the purpose of this block was to discuss two protests that happened in New South Wales, which they've given equal weight for the level of violence, terror and anti-Semitism that they supposedly caused to the community.
Like, it's just, like, sorry to interrupt, but, like, this is a Royal Commission that was called after a fucking terrorist attack in Bondi, and it's like, we're going to have a week to investigate 2 protests that
One
are completely...
day, Jordan. One day.
This is nuts.
So the 2 protests that they were talking about was one, which was a pro-Palestine demonstration that took place at the front of the Sydney Opera House.
Well, march to the Sydney Opera House.
And then the other one was actually a fucking neo-Nazi demonstration. It was actually a demonstration called by Nazis.
Literally.
They called themselves White Australia.
Yeah.
An actual anti-Semitic protest.
Yeah, with the slogan, abolish the Jewish lobby.
But these 2 events apparently have equal weight.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
According to the eyes of the Royal Commission.
Yeah, I mean, like the Royal Commission into why Israel's great, like actually only added this block last minute.
Yeah.
And they only gave it 1 day. So given that the protests have been referenced constantly by every single interviewee, the main grievance they've all raised is seeing Palestine flags, Palestine protests, campments and so on. You'd think that the Royal Commission might want to actually investigate that, explore what the movement was about, because if there is weekly demonstrations that are all anti-Semitic, you might want to talk about that. You might want to explore that, find out why that is, how you could combat it. But of course, they know the protests were not anti-Semitic, were actually about a genocide. And so they squeezed it into 1 day. Yeah. Which is deliberate.
Wait, so did they do both the Nazi?
Yes, in 1 day. And it's not even true that they were equal. The day was actually like 80% the Palestine protest.
God.
And the Nazi rally got like a 3-minute mention
But
at
it
the
was
end.
okay though, because like all the people who helped organize those demonstrations were given an opportunity to speak and talk about why they were there.
You would think so. You would think so. You would think that if you thought that somebody organized a mass protest targeting Jews, you might want to examine them, interrogate them, cross-examine them, ruthlessly expose them.
No.
But no one from the Palestine Action Group, which organized that demo, was allowed to speak.
Yeah.
Because clearly they know that our side's testimony would embarrass them, would make a mockery of the whole fucking court. So they decided not to talk about the whole movement, but just to single out this one issue. But then even then, they didn't want to hear from anyone involved in that issue.
So the protest that marched to the Sydney Opera House that became such a focus, part of the reason why it became controversial is because in the aftermath of it, there was a news article, TV segment after segment after segment about how they supposedly chanted
gas the Jews.
Yeah,
that was the initial
that was the claim that they made of this demonstration. And it was this was taken as fact, as gospel, as the truth, and reported and reported and reported. And it came out months later, obviously, to anybody who was at the demonstration and knows anything about pro-Palestine marches, this was manipulated footage. They did not say gas the Jews, and no one was prosecuted coming out of it. The police, investigated it and said, well, this evidence has been tampered with. But yet the Royal Commission can still act as though this protest was, an anti-Semitic event.
That's right. And like the way these things work is the headline is gas the Jews, everyone there is an anti-Semite, whatever. The fine print, page 25, 6 months later, no,
they didn't actually
that didn't actually happen. They didn't say that. But also like, even if some people in a crowd of tens of thousands of people said something problematic, which always happens, like, any mass of people, like you go to the football, you're going to hear some racist commentary, like big crowds of people, there's going to be differences of opinion, whatever. You'd think what actually matters is what's coming from the front. Like what are the organizers and promoters and people who are actually controlling the public messaging? What are they saying? Because...
And how are people responding within the crowd to if people
exactly?
Are saying, like,
but they didn't want to hear any of that.
No,
and so this whole thing has been set up as in a kangaroo court kind of climate, and also the assertion has been made repeatedly throughout this whole Royal Commission that this protest was organised before Israel did anything.
Yeah.
So it was not an anti-war protest. It was actually a pro-war protest. It was celebrating the massacres of October 7 when that wasn't the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, on the evening of the October 7, there was a statement from Benjamin Netanyahu. They were preparing for the massacre, the genocide that they were going to unleash on the Palestinian people. And he said, Netanyahu, that they'll have mighty vengeance for this black day. We will target all of Hamas's position. We will turn Gaza into a deserted island. To the citizens of Gaza, I say, you must leave now. We will target each and every corner of the strip. And the reason why, like the people who stand with Palestine and have been standing with Palestine for many, many years, organised demonstrations in the immediate aftermath is because we know from history what happens when, Palestinian people, when stuff like this happens. There's an immediate response of extreme terror violence, like, what happened after the Intifadas. Genocide, attack, destruction of human life. This is what Israel does.
Yeah. It's like they needed to have a 10 to 1, 100 to 1. Like, I remember on the night of October, not the night of October 7, but the week of October 7, we had a branch meeting and I said, they're going to kill 100 to 1 minimum.
Yeah, totally.
And it turns out that was not that far off, you know. Because they have to restore what they call the sort of equilibrium of terror, you can't do this to us. We're Israel. We're a military outpost of the American empire in the Middle East. We only survive because of people's fear of us and the idea that we can act with impunity. The humiliation of October 7, from their point of view, had to be responded to. And they've sort of done that, I guess. Like, I think they have actually just obliterated Gaza. Netanyahu was not exaggerating. Some people thought it was just rhetoric. It was not. They had to do what they did for their own twisted, fascistic kind of self-image, They can't be victims. They have to be the dominators. That's the way that the Israeli government sees things.
And the way that they talk about the Palestinian population, even short of something like October 7, they talk about the demographic time bomb. They need to mow the grass. This is just the way that Israel treats Palestinian people.
Totally.
So this demonstration, which, they never said what was accused, they said that they said, whatever. This protest has gone down as, this is the starting point of modern anti-Semitism in Australia. And so the Australian Financial Review has written this editorial in the aftermath of this royal hearing block. And we'll read a few quotes from it as we go through, because it's just like, it is the worst/best editorial in the Australian Financial Review. Gives you such a picture of the way that these people think. But they wrote, the disgraceful events outside Australia's most iconic building marked the start of the wave of anti-Semitic abuse, intimidation and violence targeting Jewish people. It culminated with the murder of 15 people by 2 Islamic State-inspired terrorists at a Hanukkah celebration at Bondi Beach on December 14. So the protest at the Sydney Harbour Bridge culminated in a terror attack.
Exactly.
Like,
you can just say things now.
Yeah, as long as you're talking about us.
Yeah,
but you can't say October 7 was a product of decades of Israeli colonization and genocide and ethnic cleansing
and a racist project.
You can't say that, but you can say that people peacefully protesting against the beginning of what was to be a massive genocidal war, that they were directly complicit in the terrorist attack in Bondi.
So the Royal Commission, as we said, didn't hear from anyone from the Palestine Action Group or any Palestine activists, Palestinian people, and no attendee of the demonstrations, the demonstration out the front of that went to the Sydney Harbour Bridge was allowed to speak.
Why would that be relevant?
Yeah.
Witnesses don't have to witness. They just have to have feelings.
Yeah. So the feelings that we got were from David Ossip, who is the Jewish Board of Deputies president, and then the Assistant Commissioner of the New South Wales Police, Peter McKenna.
So 2 very neutral parties.
Yeah.
No interest in this affair whatsoever.
Not at all. So David Ossip, he argued that the protest was appalling because it took place before Israel started carpet bombing Gaza. Yeah,
and it's a total lie.
Yeah.
And because Israel was already bombing Gaza by the time the protest was called. And as you said, we knew that it was coming. But this was actually revealed in the Royal Commission.
Yeah.
And this became one of the big talking points. The PAG lawyers successfully cross-examined him, proving that he was lying. and that the war had started in Gaza and that the bombs had started dropping and that he would have known that. So then there's a media shitstorm. And you might think, oh, maybe the media shitstorm is about the slanderous depiction of the Palestine movement. No, here's a few headlines. Royal Commission, peak Jewish body slams protest lawyers, clickbait theatrics.
God.
The Palestinian protesters should be answering questions, not asking them.
Well, they weren't invited.
Matilda's father and Jewish leader condemning protests. A right royal hijacking. Jewish body slams lawyers for pro-Palestine groups. Malevolence of protest rekindled.
Malevolence.
Yeah, the Australian editorial. Anti-Semitism. Royal Commission gets its own case study.
That's the AFR.
That's the AFR saying that actually the Royal Commission is now anti-Semitic. Chris Minns piled on. The idea the focus shifted from anti-Semitism in Australia to foreign policy by the lawyers representing PAG and APAN is disappointing and doesn't reflect the purpose of these hearings. And Alex Rivchin, who is the Executive Council of Australian Jewry Chief Executive, he accused the lawyers of trying to hijack an examination of lethal anti-Semitism for clickbait theatrics and gratuitous slurs against Israel. That is, his critique was, why are you talking about Israel? Yeah. We're talking about anti-Semitism. But in the whole Royal Commission, it's been all about Israel.
Yeah, they're the ones that have been conflating the two.
You might remember Yasmin Johnson was asked by the commissioner, Bell, do you love Israel? Do you feel connection to Israel?
Yeah. Did you go to a Jewish, an Israeli school?
Do you feel affinity to Israel? Have you been to Israel?
Yeah.
So,
are you sure you're Jewish?
Yeah, exactly. Like these people are the masters of hypocrisy. But it's not just the right-wing media, it's worth saying. The ABC and The Guardian both ran headlines. Royal Commissioner denies pro-Palestinian groups tried to hijack anti-Semitism inquiry, which sounds like it's sort of on the side of, the pro-Palestinian, but actually it's not, because when you deny something, where there's smoke, there's fire, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I thought a really funny, the Lamestream podcast did a really funny bit on this, and they quoted they quoted the SMH, who listen to this sentence. Dominic Toomey, barrister for the Palestine Action Group, suggested facts contradicted Ossip's evidence that the protest was called before Israel had initiated a military response.
Suggested.
So this lawyer suggested facts contradicted Ossip's evidence. What does that mean?
Yeah.
That means that Ossip lied. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Ossip was wrong.
But
factually wrong.
You could not say that.
No.
Yeah.
That would be disgusting. That would be anti-Semitic probably to say that. So the media were absolutely dancing in circles to report anything but the fact that the protest was an anti-war protest.
And let's just remember that this terror from the media, this argument of hijacking or whatever, this was a lawyer cross-examining a witness, which is a process which is allowed to happen in a Royal Commission. That is the very sort of structure that is set up by...
I mean, it's a foundational legal principle, like bourgeois legal principle.
And the thing is that they didn't just suggest that the facts contradicted. They showed that the facts
he admitted it. Like, he literally was like, okay.
But then he said, why are you talking about Israel anyway?
Totally.
I wonder why.
So this has all resulted in just basically death threats against the APAN lawyers and just a tidal wave of abuse. So what's happening out of this is that what is supposed to be an investigation into why there was a terror incident where people lost their lives at Bondi Beach has now resulted in abuse against lawyers who are trying to disentangle these questions when actually it's the supporters of, Israel, which has been entangling these questions.
That's right. And there's not been a single news story about the Islamophobic abuse. Virginia Bell had to interrupt the whole Royal Commission to actually address this. She had to address this from the front in the commission the next day to say that it was legitimate what APAN lawyer did. Because she's been receiving hate abuse via email and SMS and all the rest of it. Virginia Bell does this extraordinary intervention and calls out Islamophobia. And the media brush over it.
We're not going to talk about that.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Can you imagine if Alex Rivchin or one of the other spokespeople for the Israel lobby received even like
the messages
3 hate messages. Like it would be a whole nother segment of the Royal Commission would be dedicated to that, you know? So the hypocrisy, the double standards, just sickening.
And so hypocrisy, I'm glad you said that because I want to go back to the Australian Financial Review's editorial. So they talk about how it would never be acceptable for criticism of, China's treatment of the Uyghurs to lead to hostile words against Australian Chinese people.
No, the media would never do that.
Or for Australian Muslims to be scapegoated for Islamist terrorism.
That never happens.
Like, you literally have just done this.
You're doing this now.
Doing this right now.
Yeah, I know.
Like, how can they just they're like, oh, yes, we're going to Islamophobic.
Nobody would ever blame Muslims for terrorism. Like, honestly, did people live through 9/11 or anything?
I actually, when I read that, I was like,
are you fucking
where
serious?
am I?
Yeah.
What dream am I in? Have I woken up yet? Like, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So then the next, protest that they talked about was, so this neo-Nazi fucking demonstration out the front of the Sydney Parliament House. And so they let an attendee of that demonstration speak.
Wait, did they let a Nazi? See,
he's a reformed.
Oh, classic. Yeah, naturally. But I feel like this is indicative because I have seen a lot of the footage from the OSIP testimony and everything. I've not seen any coverage of the actual anti-Semitism.
It's not relevant. It's not relevant at all.
This is nuts.
The thing is, just to go through it, the police received a Form 1. Yeah, which is an application to block traffic.
It's not to protest.
It's not a permit to protest, but it's a permit to block traffic.
Yeah.
The permit was signed by White Australia.
Yeah.
And it said the slogan was going to be abolish the Jewish lobby.
Yeah.
And the cops were like, love it.
Which is a Hitler Youth slogan.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the cops signed off on that. And they said, yeah, we'll facilitate that demonstration for you.
Outside Parliament.
Outside Parliament. The democratic heart, supposedly, of society, in the CBD of Sydney. The police have tried to block numerous Palestine demonstrations for things like, it's disruptive, whatever. They didn't feel that about this neo-Nazi rally.
Yeah, literally.
So that's all happened. And then they hear from a neo-Nazi or a former neo-Nazi. And by the way, the people from our side who were strategizing the intervention into the Royal Commission, they were like, they're not going to call us because if they called us, they'd probably have to call a Nazi. And they don't want to do that. But as it turns out, they're happy to call a Nazi or a reformed Nazi, but not a Palestine organizer. So you get this brief testimony of a reformed Nazi explaining how the far right use, lonely, sad old man.
But the thing that was beautiful about the reformed neo-Nazi was that he said that the reason why he stopped being a neo-Nazi is because people in his life were like, I'd prefer to hang out with a murderer than to hang out with you.
True.
So it turns out that actually telling people that they support something so abhorrent can have an impact on their support for something so abhorrent. This is actually proof about why it's important to say Israel is murdering children in Gaza. Israel is committing genocide against the people in Gaza because it makes people think about their support for a state that is carrying out ethnic cleansing.
That's right.
Yeah. It also has implications about I wonder if his mates did what Trades Hall want us to do to racist One Nation supporters and just be like,
are you okay, man?
Yeah, I really understand where you're coming from.
You got really legitimate grievances against the Jewish lobby.
Yeah. Do you reckon that guy would still be a Nazi if his mates did that? Probably. It's just a stupid, we need to call this shit out when it happens.
Totally. And I think, this whole day, 3-year mass movement, the biggest protest movement in Australia's history against war, summarized in one demonstration in one city with, the whole story of that being started with manipulated footage, which was dismissed later by police. So what it reveals is that this Royal Commission is not about exposing the truth about the relationship between anti-Semitism and Israel's genocide in Gaza or anything like that. Nor is it to deal with Nazism, which is actually the source of so much of the far right threat that's growing globally. And it's definitely not really to do with looking at Bondi, what happened there, because none of this has anything to do with Bondi, which was not done by actually either Nazis or pro-Palestine people, but something totally different. It's just about defending Israel and condemning anyone who's ever opposed the genocide in Gaza. That's what it's about. And that's why the fact that Alex Rivchin can say with a straight face, and Ossip in the Royal Commission itself, why are you bringing Israel into this? Like the amount of like training these people must get to just lie through their teeth. Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
That's their whole mission is to defend Israel.
Yeah.
And then they're lecturing people who point out the inconsistencies of their statements. It's just disgusting.
Yeah. So this Royal Commission has just been absolute sham. It's increased the level of Islamophobia in society, has slandered the Palestine movement and the left. And I think back from the very beginning when they first proposed it, we said on the podcast, this thing is going to be absolutely terrible. It's going to be a witch hunt, and it's going to result in like basically curtailing democratic rights and freedoms. And I think that is, you know,
we can see that.
before even the final report is out. Like I think it's very clear that is the process that's unfolding right now.
That's right. And we should remember that the Liberals called for it and fought for it. Labor capitulated, but the Greens as well. Like the Greens supported it.
Yeah.
They said, maybe we should just add a clause to say Islamophobia as well as anti-Semitism, and then it would be fine. But this was never going to be a neutral investigation into racism. This was a set-up witch hunt from the beginning. And I think when people ask, like, the Greens and the Socialists, you guys are all kind of the same. This is an example of how we're not, because the Greens supported it because they thought to oppose it would be to go against the bourgeois establishment. The ruling class were campaigning for the Royal Commission. They wanted to crush the Palestine movement. And the Greens thought, you know what, rather than take that head on, we're going to kind of dance around it. We're going to pretend like the Royal Commission is something it isn't, which is just classic of kind of technocratic liberalism. Yeah. No, socialists understood what it was. We called it out. We opposed it from the start. And it would have been better if more people on the left had done the same.
Yeah.
Riding out the party line.
So on Thursday, there's going to be a nationwide walkout of high school students and university students against Pauline Hanson, which is awesome. The thing that makes it even better is that this has just like been a nightmare for the right-wing press.
They really hate it.
A real thorn in the side.
Like I have seen so many AI-generated images.
Yes, polls.
Like, is it okay for students to walk out of class? My favorite one has been like right-wing idiots in the comments being like, don't these students know about democracy? Yeah. It's like, yeah, they do. That's why they're protesting. I wanted to play a clip that I think it's the South Australian High School Anti-Capitalists spliced together from a segment on Sky News.
Incredible.
It's really dangerous. It's really sinister. Rita called it correct. It's radicalisation of our youth, and it's happening through the ABC, it's happening through the schools, and it's happening through the universities, and it's an utter disgrace that it was a march against a political figure organised by the
education system.
It's sinister.
Is the South Australian Department of Education organising the strike then?
And then halfway, as the clip goes on, I can't remember what this fuckhead's name is, but he literally says, it's like Pol Pot.
What? What are they like?
It's like Pol Pot.
Can you believe the students are protesting against a political figure?
Did he know what Pol Pot did?
Like what? You just say things now.
It's unbelievable. But like his listeners will be like, yeah, that's true.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, these
Pol
kids
Pot.
are like Pol Pot. Actually insane.
There's an article in Spectator.
Do you reckon people know who Pol Pot is?
No.
Do you want to give a summary?
Mass murderer.
Yeah, he was like a dictator in Cambodia.
Yeah, I reckon people know who Pol Pot is.
No, he killed like
a lot.
Everyone who lived in the city, basically.
Yeah.
People with glasses.
Yeah, like anyone.
You would have been gone.
That would have been so gone.
Maybe I would have like
Anyway, it was a very bad time. And he was actually supported by the West. Like John Pilger did a great thing about how Margaret Thatcher and that gave cover to the Khmer Rouge.
But then, so there's an article in Spectator Australia, and it's Pauline Hanson versus anti-capitalist students. And it says the rise of...
such a good photo.
It's a great photo. It's Pauline Hanson like...
Exasperated, yeah.
The rise of
She
anti-capitalism
looks like a zombie.
Shows how badly the education system has failed our own kids. And it's like, it's just...
Look at this. You've got these kids in school linking Pauline Hanson, oligarchs, and fascism, linking that to billionaires.
Fuck yeah.
Linking that to Gina Reinhardt. It's really dangerous.
It's really sinister.
I mean, isn't Gina Reinhardt and the Pauline Hanson link fairly established?
I feel like
at this
they
point?
did that themselves.
And the article is so awesome because it's like, it wasn't so long ago that these students were talking about the climate crisis. Oh, and
idiots.
Now it didn't take long for the climate apocalypse to be replaced by gender and pronouns. It's like we had gender and pronouns for a long time.
All of this just shows that the kids are all right.
And then it says the kids then switched their rainbows for kafirs and started shouting about rivers and seas that they couldn't name.
Isn't that Albo's line?
Now
That's Albo's line.
everything is orange. So they're like freaking the fuck out about it. So then Jules, who's a Victorian Socialist member and an organizer of high school anti-capitalists, she went on Tom Elliott's radio show on 3AW.
A bold move.
And oh my God.
Killed it.
This is the best thing I've ever heard. So keep in mind, Jules just turned 18. She's in year 12. And this is the question that Tom Elliott thought that he should ask her.
Argument about making it easier for bosses to fire workers that she deems lazy, which I think is absolutely horrible. And it would be weaponized against them in all senses.
Yeah, maybe. Have you ever run a small business?
No, I have not run a small business.
Lazy 18-year-old.
Have you ever run a small
She
business?
should have had 5 by now. How many investment properties did your mate have by the time he was 18?
Actually, that's a good question. I think it was 20. He was in his 20s before he had his first 15.
So I just love that. Like, he's such a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
What a gotcha moment.
Like, so the other day he was interviewing our friend Jack Mansell about a protest in Hawthorne against Pauline Hanson. And the thing that Tom Elliott said to him is, I just don't understand it. So I think we're learning a lot about Tom Elliott, which is that he's a fucking idiot.
He's actually a bit stupid. I
wonder if he's ever had a small business.
Well, he says he has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He keeps
that's
getting
good.
owned, like absolutely, wrecked. I remember, Jules's first responses to his first few questions are I love the she's like, yep, no, what are you talking about? But he is actually quite dumb. He is really, really.
Well, when you're the
stupid.
child of a billionaire, corrupt Carlton executive scumbag, you don't have to work very hard to make it. It's a bit like Xander Maguire, who got some defenders. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Nepo babies are, they're lazy.
Yeah. Did we speak about this last week? I think we did. Yeah.
Someone in the YouTube comments defended Xander.
I can't believe that. Anyway, whatever. So Tom Elliott's an idiot, and the kids are doing a great thing. It's really gone viral, and I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
They got a message from someone in Ballarat, saying, "Hey guys, I'm in Ballarat. I'm planning to come down.
Oh fuck yeah.
I prepared a speech that I'd like to give if you can.
Yeah.
I appreciate if you can't, it's fine, but there's a lot of us coming down and we really hate it." And it's yes, you fucking can speak. We love it.
So yes, everybody should get out to that if they are a high school or uni student or someone who doesn't have to go to work that day.
Riding out the party line.
Well, thanks so much for listening to the Party Line.
You're welcome.
You're
required to. It's not thank you.
If you're wondering where we're going to be on the weekend, if you ever wondered that, we're going to be in Footscray for the massive door knock that's happening. We're meeting in Footscray Park at 12 o'clock.
Yep.
And we're going to try and door knock the majority of the Footscray electorate. We want to get around 400 people there and make it the biggest door knock that's ever happened basically in state politics.
Yeah.
So people should definitely come along to that and help us spread the message about our wonderful candidate, Jasmine Duff. And we want to fucking take Footscray.
Yeah.
So people should help us do that.
Yeah, our listeners are in a good position to judge Jasmine Duff because you've heard her quite a few times and she's fucking great.
Yeah.
So imagine her in Parliament being the Yasmin Johnson of state politics. That would be fucking awesome.
It would be awesome.
Yeah. I saw someone posted in our chat this morning, Maxine Benema Clark's.
Yes.
It was really good. It's Jazz's core flutes are out at the moment. Or a couple of them. They're not out. But Maxine wrote about the last election where Anthony Green or Anthony, whichever,
he's gone.
Was Victorian Socialists are on 9%. That's probably an anomaly. That'll not happen. And then Maxine apparently shouted at the TV. It's you don't even go here. Which is so funny.
So people can help us shock
what
are they called?
Whoever's the next Anthony Flabot.
Anyways,
whatever the
doesn't
fuck.
matter.
Yeah.
Sorry, shut up.
Yeah, not important.
I still don't know what you guys are talking about.
Someone will. So the last thing we want to say is if you're watching this on YouTube and wondering why we suddenly looked much better than we usually do, we want to bring on camera
This
Jack
is amazing.
Scanlon, who is our new producer. Say hi.
Hi, comrades.
So we just wanted to thank Jack for putting all of these lights together.
It's a pleasure.
And yes. So
If you work for like a filmmaking company or making Hollywood movies and listening to this, like employ this guy.
Yeah, give me money. I would love money to make art. That'd be great.
Yeah. Left wing
right.
art.
Yeah.
do you want to say like and subscribe?
Oh, like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling party line. Oh, I never will forsake thee, for I love this life of mine.